What's going on, golf addicts? DB and Pat here, the Tour Junkies, ready to break down the RBC Heritage 2022 from a DraftKings perspective. We're going to talk, constructing lineups. We're going to talk about who we like in each range, who we don't like in each range. We're going to build a lineup at the end of the show, end of the podcast. It's going to be a good time. Ready to get into it, Pat. The Masters is over. We're here with the hangover. It was a great week. We had a lot of fun. We had listeners in the Nut Hut, people winning a bunch of money. Our boy Kobe, defense lawyer, won $185,000 on DraftKings. Holy smokes. Nut Hut member that just keeps on crushing there. The Nut Hut chat on Wednesday night was a top 3 chat in the history of Nut Hut chats. If you're not a part of that, I don't know what you're doing. It was a lot of fun. Scotty Scheffler's a worthy champion. I'm excited about him and his future at Augusta as well. Just seems like a great dude. And I got this great hat. I'm drinking a beer left in my fridge by our Masters Week renters.
Good. I'm drinking a beer in my fridge left by me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I had a weird weekend. I had a weird end to Masters Week, and so I didn't really feel like getting into the liquor tonight. Maybe hear more on that story later at the end of this show. But I'm excited about it, Pat. Let's get into it. I mean, we don't need to hit the Masters too much. Okay, we're just ready. I'm just ready to get into it. I want to talk about the RBC Heritage now. Because of all the Masters Week festivities, I did not have time to put out the course breakdown show that I've been doing the last few weeks since DB went full time. So I apologize for that. I did do the first look show today. In terms of the betting show. We'll have all the regular content out tomorrow. I'll do the head-to-head picks show. I might have a little bonus show for you. Pat's going to have the Fantasy Golf Sommelier this week, dishing out some prize picks talk. I'm excited about it. Listen, if you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And I have a question for the YouTube commenters. I'm doing a little market research here. I need to know your favorite golf brand or piece of apparel. When you think about golf brands, things you wear, things, gadgets you use, whatever it is, not clubs, but anything else, or clothes or apparel that you wear. What's your favorite brand? Put that in the YouTube comments. Tell me why. It's a little market research for us, and it also helps the algorithm. So comment, please. If you're watching live, hold your comments till after the podcast is done and it's out on YouTube. That would be helpful. And also, congratulations to haven't won yet, who scored 427 points and won the Nut Hut Listener League, Pat.
So he's won. He's got to change the whole thing up.
He's now won, so he's got to change it up. He's a Nut Hut member. He's got his ticket punched to the live Nut Hut final for a chance to win a weekend trip to come play golf with me and Pat in either Augusta or Savannah. That should be fun. We hosted the Prize Picks winners, Steve and Dan, this past week at Augusta. It was a great time. Thanks to everybody who played along in that, and Prize Picks for sure. But Pat, talk to us about RBC Heritage, about Harbor Town. Of course, we're both very familiar with. We've played it a couple times. We know the course well. What do we need to know from a DraftKings perspective here?
Well, this feels good to do this again. After you went full-time DB, I don't get to do it. So, Harbor Town Golf Links, fantastic golf course in Sea Pines Plantation in Hilton Head. It is a par 71, just over 7,100 yards, Pete Dye design. We've got 136 players in the field this week. T65 and ties will make the cut. Bermuda grass, tee to green, as we typically see on a South Carolina course just like this. You've got very narrow fairways, tight tree-lined holes, small greens. Despite it being a little bit shorter of a course, you really can't really bomb yourself around this course. I mean, the lines that you see, the sight lines off the tee into these greens, it just doesn't really allow for you to just cut a lot of corners and do all that kind of stuff. I mean, the very first hole, you think you hit a pretty good drive, but you went a little bit left, but you're in the fairway. You're blocked out by a tree just overhanging on the left. So you really got to be accurate off the tee, and you've got to be, hit the right spots off the tee as well. So this is a very... this is a position golf course, whether it's off the tee and also onto these greens. And if you do miss the greens, you got to scramble well, and then you got to putt well on these Bermuda greens. So, one of the things I think this week is important, as we typically do see on a coastal course, is we could get some wind and we could get some rain this time of year. We just saw this last week at the Masters in Augusta. I do think we're going to get the chance of a little bit of rain and a weather wave potentially because of wind. So that's something you're going to want to get into the Nut Hut this week and get into the chat. We're gonna be amongst everybody here and talking the weather and whatever else. So I think that we could have a weather wave advantage this week. As far as stats though, for me, I'm looking at definitely form, course history here. I think it does take a few years to get used to this course. Driving accuracy, I'm looking at ball striking. Always see your great ball strikers win here. I mean, one of the best ball strikers who's won here twice was what?
Satoshi Kaira. Oh, my bad.
And Boo Weekley.
Boo
Weekley is a fantastic ball striker. He won here twice. So looking at that, strokes gained approach and scrambling. So there you go, DB.
I'll give the people a little insight into my model, right? I had a lot of research time
your
today.
model.
Yeah, it was a good day. I had a lot of research time. I did a model on Fantasy National. By the way, the show is presented to you by fantasynational.com, where you need to go if you want to build models, if you want to look at models. And these are the kind of models you can look at and your wife can be looking at with you and she won't get mad, okay? You can build those kind of models. Ownership projections for DFS, betting tools, head-to-head analysis for betting, everything you need, all the PGA Tour data you could imagine at fantasynational.com, who we've been using for over 4 years now. A one-stop shop. It's literally the only tool that you need. That's it. So if you want to do all this stuff yourself, build the models yourself, look at all this stuff yourself, ownership projections yourself, and just listen to us for laughs, do it yourself at fantasynational.com. If you go to fantasynational.com/TJ, tell them the Tour Junkies sent you. You get 20% off a weekly, monthly, or annual membership. And if you try it out and you like it and you want to upgrade it after that, you still get to keep the 20% off. They're really good people over there. Very generous people over there. So check it out. Thanks to Fantasy National. I'll tell you about my model, Pat. I did this. I did this. I think strokes gained approach is important on the PGA Tour on handicapping golf, predicting golf every single week without fail. And it's probably the most important stat every single week without fail. This week, I think it's even more important. These are some of the toughest greens in regulation to hit on the PGA Tour. They're some of the smallest greens to hit on the PGA Tour. Pete Dye is diabolical, and Alice with her little one hole he let her do. And I think that hole sucks, Alice. I just want you to know. And so I just think the approach play is even more key. So I weighted it much heavier than I normally do. I also looked at opportunities gained, proprietary Fantasy National stat. I looked at strokes gained, ball striking at Harbor Town. That's something I like to look at to kind of give me an indication of not necessarily course history from a finish position standpoint, but from a who tee to green, who off the tee and approach has done really well here. Let's leave the putting noise out of it. Let's see who does that well. I did look at a little bit of strokes gained off the tee just to see a little bit of that. Obviously, that leans a little heavier towards the Bombers, but I weighted it low. I looked at strokes gained putting long-term on Bermuda, but I looked at strokes gained putting just on any surface in the last 12 rounds. Who's hot with the putter and does it line up with being a good Bermuda putter? And then strokes gained around the green because you are destined to miss greens, although I didn't weight it very much because I think I weighted it, but not super heavy. I would rather just get the super iron players. But that's kind of look at the model. I'm with you, man. This is a fun course. It is a tough course. It is not just about hitting the fairway. It is about being on the right side of the fairway. You can get boned real quick in the fairway because of Pete Dye and his tree branches and his curves and twists and turns and bulkheads and bunkers and water and all that mess. It's a pain in the butt golf course. I'll tell you that. If you're an amateur and you want to play golf at Hilton Head, here's a tip for you, Pat. This is free. I bet, Pat, you would agree with this right here. Here's a tip. If you're an amateur and you want to spend a bunch of money to go play golf at Harbor Town, don't.
I would probably agree with that.
Go across the little, I don't know what the body of water is called. The harbor.
Hey, right behind me. There's a flag right here.
Go there. Yeah, there it is. Go to
Hague Point.
Go to Defusky Island. Isn't that what it is? Defusky?
Yeah, Defusky Island.
Go to Defusky and play the courses at Defusky. Hague Point. There's another one over there. Freaking amazing. Okay? Amazing golf courses. Cheaper than Harbor Town. Better than Harbor Town. We played them all. I'm just saying. All right. Pat, from a strategy standpoint, though, this is a stacked Harbor Town field. We talked about it on the betting show.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the most stackedest.
Is that a word you just said?
Yeah. I knew it wasn't, but I said it with conviction. It's the most stackedest, field at Harbor Town I think we've seen in a minute. You got some big names here, 5 of the top 10. this is turning into a favorite stop of a lot of players on the PGA Tour. It is a place known typically for these guys to come and unwind after the Masters and bring the family and listen to Greg Russell under the big oak tree of Harbor Town and sing some silly songs and have a few, mixed drinks by the beach. Maybe I make the cut, maybe I don't. It's kind of been one of those things over the years, but this is definitely turning into a pretty hot field. It's going to be tough to ignore some of the names up here, but we have seen, other people do well here. Okay. Not so great guys do well here. And I think there's a case that can obviously be made. There always is a case that can be made for playing studs and duds. And there are some weeks where I think you feel like in DraftKings, you have to play some of the big names up top and then go down low into the 6K range and do your thing. But I think there's not every week where you feel like you can play a balanced lineup and just avoid those names at 10K or 97K and above, that you feel like you can avoid those completely and just still crush it in tournaments or GPPs on DraftKings. But I think this is a week that you can. I think you can build a lineup, a bunch of lineups, fading that top tier, as scary as it feels. And there's guys up there I like, but I think that's how deep this field is to me. And it does really negate some of the strengths of some of the guys up top. Harbor Town does.
Yeah, I hear you there. Although I do tend to gravitate towards some of these guys at the top that are not necessarily JT, who's at the very top, but the lower end of that 10K range, and then dropping down really to the lower end of the 9K range. And I feel like that's going to give me my strategy, to be honest, is going to be a lower guy in the 10K, lower guy in the 9K, and then filling it in from there. So,
okay,
you could call that more studs and duds, but I think it's sort of a hybrid a little bit of studs and duds and balanced.
Okay. We do have a Corn Ferry Tour show coming out this week. I notified the folks on the betting show that Garrett Simmons is back to break down the Corn Ferry Tour Veritex Championship, I believe it is, from a betting and DraftKings or mainly betting perspective. So you're going to want to check that wherever you listen to podcasts or here on the YouTube channel. And Garrett's a guy. He's a young guy. He's single. He lives on his own. He's a little scraggly looking. And he probably has a roughed up couch and probably some jacked up furniture in his house somewhere. And he's going to need to use the promo code we're about to drop him from our new friends over at Burrow, who dropped some awesome couches and furniture for you. Okay, they got the whole thing covered. They got 2 iconic modular seating systems and everything from coffee tables to credenzas. Burrow is a one-stop shop for outfitting your home in style. Coffee and side tables, they got the Kettle collection made of stylish metal and marble. They have the Carta collection, which contains your clutter so that your space can look effortlessly tidy. Some of you guys need to clean up. You know who you are. You got a TV and you're like, I need to figure out what to do with my TV and what to put under it or what to put it on or how to organize my stuff. My Xbox, my PlayStation, whatever that may be. Burrow offers 3 different media consoles to fit your TV, featuring customizable designs, adjustable height, interior shelves, and thoughtful touches like cord organizing holes at each corner. And you get free shipping on every order. Every order from Burrow, no matter how small or large, includes free shipping, which can save you an average of $100 on bigger items like a couch. Burrow wants you to love the sofa that you're on as much as you love the Tour Junkies show. Show them you're listening to the Tour Junkies podcast by shopping at burrow.com/Tour Junkies and get $75 off your first order. That's burrow.com, BURROW.com/Tour Junkies for $75 off. Burrow.com/Tour Junkies. Shout out Burrow. F your couch. You know what I mean? Get a Burrow couch. All right, Pat.
Okay.
Top tier range, 9K and above. Here, let's do this. Just we don't have producer Sam tonight. That's why we're here on this setup that we have.
Do I need to move this direction?
We don't have producer Sam, but he was so kind to drop in some graphics for us. So look. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Woo!
Oh yeah. We got Justin Thomas at 11-1. Cam Smith 10-8, DJ 10-5, Morikawa, Cantlay, Lowry, Connors, Berger, Fitzy, Sungjae, Spieth, who missed the cut at the Masters like a schmuck, Joaquin Neiman at 9,100, Russell Henley at 9K, Pat. We're going to give you a few GPP plays or tournament plays that we like. I'm going to give you a cash lock in every play, in every range. I don't know if Pat will, but I love a lot of names here, Pat. If you look at the top of the range, very top, I think Morikawa is probably going to be the chalk play at 10-2, and he is very tempting. I liked him in the betting show at 14-1. If you're going to take a shorter number from a betting standpoint, he was in the final group here last year with Stewart Sink. Should have won, didn't win. He kind of crapped the bed. I guess Stewart had a big lead going into Sunday, but best iron player still, that there is. So that's definitely good here. Going back to the strokes gained approach numbers, but I do think he's going to be a pretty chalky play. I like JT, but JT doesn't feel like the closer that I want him to be right now. Like at 11-1, he sets up well, but he's not closing. He's not putting 4 rounds together. He's having big numbers. He's having bad days, bad nines, whatever it is that's keeping him out of the top 3 and like in contention, really. And I don't know that I want to do that either. Which is one reason why I like what I was talking about, like jumping down in the range and fading this 10K range altogether. If you want to eat some chalk, I think it's Colin Morikawa. If you don't, come join me below the 10K range. And there's going to be chalk here too, but a lineup where you build without the 10K range could be unique. I love Shane Lowry. I love Matt Fitzpatrick. I love Corey Connors. I love Joaquin Niemann. I love Russell Henley. Those are all names I love. And I don't know, of those 5 guys, I would play the 3, maybe the 3 or 4, 3 lowest owned guys and pick them, and let's go from there. Because I don't think there's much that separates them. Obviously, Henley's a great value at 9,000. You save a lot of cash there. I think Neiman has a lot of potential at 9,100, so I'm leaning there. But like, there's a lot of names up here I love. The one to avoid for me is probably JT up top, because again, I just don't see him closing the door like he needs to at that price tag. For cash, I think Russell Henley is as much a lock as there could possibly be in terms of a lock. It finished 9th here in 2021. The iron play has been incredible, in great form. Had a solid Sunday at Augusta. Just had a couple bad holes, but made a ton of birdies. So there you go. Let's just wait and see how the chalk plays out in this range.
Yeah. Well, I there's 2 guys here above 10K that I love this week. One of them you mentioned, and that's Morikawa. I don't care what the chalk looks like. I still think this is a great course fit for him. I liked how he finished last week at Augusta National. Obviously, he's now number 2 in the world behind Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
So I like Morikawa there at 10-2, but I really like DJ in DraftKings at 10-5. I think DJ is going to be lower owned of this in this range. We haven't seen DJ necessarily come out and win anything at all lately. But if I can get a lower owned Dustin Johnson in a tournament like this that he's certainly done well at, he is a guy that dials it back on this course. He doesn't like try to bomb and gouge this course. He knows how to play this course. He grew up in South Carolina. So for me, Dustin Johnson at 10-5 is a good play, especially if the ownership is low. I would want to see where that is. I want to see if for some reason he's getting talked up more than I think he should.
I think he will get talked up. He's got the record here. He's showing the form.
He does, but the form's a little better, but it's not like I still think there's going to be some value there.
Pretty good. I mean, 9th at the Players. He Final 4 in the match play, 12th at the Masters. Like I think DJ is going to be the second most popular play in the 10K range after Morikawa. I think it's going to be Morikawa, DJ, and then I'm not sure. I think Cam Smith is probably next. I think Smith is probably next. And then Cantlay, I feel like Cantlay could be the one that gets overlooked because of the poor Masters finish, maybe the miscut last year, and then like JT just because of the price. But I think it's going to go Morikawa, DJ.
I wonder if DJ is going to be like. I think there's like some weeks you get guys that are talked up a lot on shows like we do and whatever else. And you think they're chalky because you listen to the shows and you listen to write-ups and whatever else. But then for some reason, people like get nervous and they back off, and then they end up being a little less owned than you think they are. Like, I wonder if the ownership projections are going to end up being wrong about DJ, and he's lower owned than most people might think he is. I don't know, but I still like DJ regardless of what we're going to project in ownership. And then if I'm dropping down, there's 2 guys really here that I love. I love Sung J M and I love Joaquin Niemann. I think Niemann to me is the safer play than Sung J M.
Yeah.
But if I get maybe a super low owned Sungjae, I think I could be tempted when I'm doing my lineups to click that button on Sungjae. But I do like Neiman a lot at 9,100, and I think even if I were to look at doing lineups and put DJ and Morikawa in a lineup and then go Neiman, I could still maybe make a decent lineup there. So so I think I'll go Neiman there at the bottom at 9,100, but I am very tempted with Sungjae at 9,300. Definitely would not play Sungjae in cash or anything like that. It's as far as a cash play for me though, it's Shane Lowry. It's Shane Lowry. So.
Yeah. David Broughton asked in the chat, can we get away with stacking DJ and Kawa? I think you can.
I think I just said that.
You can. Yeah, you can. It just, it depends on what you want to do. I mean, if you're doing a bunch of lineups, yes, I think more so. I think if you're doing, 10 lineups or less, I don't know how many of those stacks I would have. You're leaving a lot out there in that really stacked 9K and even 8K range. That's pretty sexy. Then I think there's going to be a lot of value there. I do love the low sevens, which we're going to get to here in a minute, but which you can still stack up with those and still be fine with a DJ Morikawa stack, but I don't think I will be doing a whole lot of that. So let's move on to the 8K range, Pat. Let's see if I can bring up another awesome. Producer Sam is missing an action graphic. Here we go. Wow, look, let's peek around the corner here. Look at Webb Simpson, 8,800. Billy Horschel, 87. Terrell Hatton, HV3. Siwoo Kim, Alex Noren, Tommy Fleetwood, Kiz at 8,100, and Chris Kirk at 8K. That is your 8K range, Pat. My favorite name in here, and I think you probably agree, I don't know if he's your favorite, and I do think he will be chalky. So, like, if you stack him with a Morikawa, you're starting to get real chalky, is Alex Noren. I think Noren at 8,300 with 3 good finishes at this place, rolling right now in terms of form, checks all the boxes you need him to check. Good value at 8,300 right there at that average price. He's a cash lock for me, but I do love him in GPPs. I think you can play him despite being chalk. Just be careful how you stack him. Like I said, if you start off with, and this is me projecting it on Monday night, who knows? If you start off with Noren and Morikawa, I think you are being very chalky to start. So just be aware of it. That's all I'm saying in DFS for now. Now, that could be not the case. After that, I like a handful of names in here. I mean, I really do. So, I mean, I will be looking at ownership leverage here. A couple names I think may go a little under the radar could be, and then I'm liking Tommy Fleetwood's game right now. I mentioned him last week for the Masters. I'm liking where we're seeing him trend. This feels like a golf course that could work out well for him. So Tommy Ladd is one I'm on the lookout for. I'm starting to feel some sort of draw, which I never do, to Terrell Hatton, which is very strange. Pat, I don't usually feel anything for Terrell Hatton other than just he's fun to watch, and but I rarely play the guy, but for some reason I'm starting to kind of feel it. I don't know. He finished third here a couple years ago, runner up at the Arnold Palmer a couple weeks ago, had a good showing at the Players, the Valspar, never plays the Masters well, missed the cut. I mean, didn't miss the cut. He made the cut, but he sucked after that. But Hatton's feeling interesting to me if we can get a low-owned Hatton. My fade in this range is Kevin Kisner. We talked about him. We debated him on the betting show. We talked about him in Prize Picks. I just, played good at the WGC, played better than I thought he would at the Masters. I think it was a long week at Augusta, long Saturday with Tiger. This is an off week for the South Carolinian. I think this week, I think it's the Bro Fest comes to town, to Harbor Town, to root on Kevin, and I don't know that we see. I don't know that we see Kiz rocking and rolling this week. I do believe this is a place where when he is clicking all around, it's a great place for him. But I don't know that we're seeing it. So I think I'm out.
Yeah, so we have disagreement there for sure. I like Kiz this week. I think, the Bro Fest, whatever you want to call it, is nothing to him. I mean, he loves nothing more than to be in contention, and he loves nothing more to be in contention in front of his bros if he can be. So I don't think, and you just mentioned, I mean, this is a great course for him. We've seen him contend here. As a matter of fact, this was probably the first tournament he could have won, and didn't. or maybe this was after the Players when he almost won the play. I can't remember, but he was still like, this is a tournament he's almost won before and could have. So I like his a lot here at 8,100. I think he's in a different mindset right now. I think the last couple of years he's had children born. He's had all kinds of different issues he's had to kind of go through, but he's been playing extremely well lately. Played well at the Players Championship with the 4th place finish in the bad weather draw. Played well in match play. I feel like he's got, like, if you just watch him right now, there's a lot of confidence. We didn't even think he would play well at the Masters because he always says it's not a good course fit for him. But he played pretty well for him. He seems really in control of his game, which is what you got to have here on this course. So I do like his at 8,100. Another guy that I think is a little bit sneaky here that I don't, nobody I feel like is going to talk about him, has a magnificent course history here with a victory, and that's Webb Simpson. I mean, how
you ready, huh? You ready?
I'm ready to go in on Webb, and maybe
God,
a little early.
Love some course history. Oh, God.
I do, but I like Webb here. I like the fact that he, made the cut last week, made the cut at the tournament before that. He has not played a lot this year. I know that. But if you can, let's talk about like a little bit of gamesmanship, okay? Like, let's try to be in a little bit early on a guy, and maybe we don't hit him right away. But I think if you're going to be in early on somebody, especially ownership wise, this is the week to do it with Webb. This is the week to do it. So I like him there at 8,800.
Webb. Man. All right.
So there you go. My fade is Billy Horschel at 8,700. I don't like Billy Horschel. Well,
his irons are clicking right now.
His irons are not clicking.
Yes,
they are not. Did you watch him at all last week?
No, I didn't watch him last week. No, but he gained 5 strokes at the API, 6 strokes at Honda. Like, that was pretty good.
He's 85th in the field in strokes gained approach over his last 24 rounds.
By the way, let me tell you where he finished last week.
Not very good.
Let me tell you where he finished last week in strokes gained approach in the Masters, because the data golf people figured it out. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13th in the field, gained 0.83 strokes on approach. Kevin Na was the most at 2.35. Cam Smith at 2.31. Horschel at 0.83. So the irons clicked last week too. So I think Horschel is in play here. I
do not. I don't think the iron play is at all. Is like, what do we? What
I just gave you the data. What else do you want? What else do you want? I just gave you the data.
Well, does strokes gained approach, like, you just said strokes gained approach. You said this literally like 20 minutes ago. If I need to roll back the tape, you said strokes gained approach is one of the most important stats that you can look at in predicting golf.
Yes.
Billy Horschel is 85th in the field in strokes gained approach over the last 24 rounds. So you can't sit there and say that his irons are clicking. Here's another stat that I know you hate that I can't wait to bring up. He is 99th in the field in proximity from 150 to 175 yards. He's 113th in the field in proximity from 175 to 200 yards. Those are the two most those are the two biggest ranges for proximity. So Billy Horschel's irons are not that great.
Yes, they are.
They're not.
And here's why. Here's why this is something that people need to know about Fantasy National. If you don't get strokes gained data from the Masters, then his last 24 rounds being calculated will include the API, Honda, Phoenix, Farmers, Sony, and Century. Okay. The Century, he lost 8.4 strokes with his irons. 8.4. That is why that number is being pulled down so low. But at Augusta, which is not being counted at Fantasy National, I just told you, according to Data Golf, who did the calculations on strokes gained this week, thank you to them, they have him gaining strokes 13th in the field with his irons this week. Then at the Honda, like I said, 5 strokes. I'm sorry, API 4.9 strokes, Honda 5.8. Phoenix 0.6, whatever. He lost strokes.
I would like to know where these numbers came from Data Golf, because I watched him play. Like, he was in one of the featured groups, and his irons were terrible. Now, he got it back together on the back 9, whichever day this was that I watched. But for a little bit, his irons were all over the damn place.
I'm just trusting that. I mean, I didn't watch Billy Horschel play golf. I did. I will say that, Pat. I did not watch Billy Horschel play golf at Augusta. I didn't have him, but I'm only looking at the only place I know that claims to have collected strokes gained data from.
I like Data Golf. I'm just trying to say.
That's all I'm telling you.
How are they collecting that data from Augusta National? Don't they like kind of keep that data to themselves a little bit?
I don't know. Let's
I
see.
couldn't even figure out greens and regulation for my Prize Picks plays. I mean,
I
much
will
less.
say this, we didn't really get into the app, but the Masters app, the one thing that bothers me about that app is the IBM stats. And the IBM, they ran their damn commercial and over and over again, and they showed a little screenshot with the app on there, and it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best app. It wasn't the best from the stats wasn't the stats section was not that easy to figure out. There was some things that could do better. And normally I have no complaints with the Masters app. But there you go. And people that want to bet, I don't think we can do a bet tonight. Number one, producer Sam is not here to spin our ratchet betting wheel. Okay. Number two, we already have 2 bets that we need to pay off right now. Pat has to pay off his Denny's bet for Brian Stewart losing to Nick Taylor on
Well,
the
we
very
had a
last
shrimp
hole.
issue. We had a shrimp
This is
issue with that.
thanks to supply chain issues. We had a shrimp
Yeah.
issue in Augusta.
That was
this
supposed to
past
happen
week.
last week, but it didn't.
But so there's that. And then I lost the bet last week. I took Matt Fitzpatrick. Granted, he was double the odds as Will Zalatoris. I took Matt Fitzpatrick to beat Will Zalatoris. He just barely didn't clip him. And so I lost that bet, and I have to film myself playing speed golf for 2 holes. In fact, I think I figured out when I'm going to do it, Pat. I'm actually really excited about it. I'm going to do it at Mountain Valley. I'm going to do it at Mountain Valley Golf Course, the site of the first ever live Tour Junkies golf event in September, late September. If you haven't signed up, all the details are in the description on YouTube and in the podcast. You need to sign up. But I'm going there. The plan is to go there next week, and producer Sam's going to be with me. I'm going to shoot some content. We're going to do some stuff, scout out the location, do some planning. And I think producer Sam is going to video me playing those 2 holes, and I think we're going to put it on Instagram Live. So I'm going to and he said it's going to set me up on 2 really hilly courses. Or 2 holes. So
Good.
there we go. I do think it would have been funnier had you lost that one, but I actually think that about all the bets. I think all the bets would be funnier if Pat lost them and had to do them.
Well, I mean, I've been on a bad run lately, so
You
it's
have been
about
on a bad
time
run.
that and Zalatoris. I mean,
Dude, he rolled the rock. He
he
rolled
did.
the rock. I don't know if it's Augusta or I don't know if he figured something out, but I mean, I kept waiting on the really nervy stroke to happen, and it didn't happen. It just
He
didn't
didn't.
happen.
He didn't just roll the rock.
Let's see
He
what
actually
Data Golf
did it.
says about his
He did
putting.
it. He did it on some like tough par
Oh
putts.
my God. You know what? You're right, Pat. Zalatoris may be, Data Golf may be completely jacked up. They have Will Zalatoris. Wait for this. 2, 4, 6, 8. They have Will Zalatoris finishing 10th in the field in strokes gained putting at Augusta.
Well, I mean, all of a sudden he's a good putter. What can I say?
He is when he shows up at Augusta. All right. Good Lord. That's crazy. Is that the 8K range? Did we finish that?
Yes, that was the 8K range.
Okay.
Do I need to talk about Nutrafol now?
Yes. Is that your segue this time?
Yeah, that's my segue this time. We're going to talk about Nutrafol, okay? So right now we are going to talk about a brand called Nutrafol, and they give you hair, okay? So when it comes to thinning hair, you no longer have to choose between natural remedies and those that work. There's a holistic solution for men that promotes both healthier hair and whole body wellness without drugs or prescriptions, okay? Did you know that there are 5 root causes of thinning hair? Nutrafol is the hair supplement that goes beyond genetics to target stress, hormones, nutrition, metabolism, and environmental factors that may be impacting your hair. Okay. Nutrafol is clinically shown to improve hair growth, thickness is key, and visible scalp coverage without compromise. 21 potent natural ingredients support sex drive, better sleep, and less stress too, as well. In a clinical study, men showed progressive improvement in hair growth and thickness after 3 and 6 months. Nutrafol is also trusted and recommended by more than 1,500 top doctors. I love those top doctors.
Yeah. But possibly a bottom doctor's t-shirt coming soon, though.
Yeah. Love the top doctors and the bottom doctors. You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going these things they get harder as the shows go on. Anyway, let me start that over. You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering the promo code Tour Junkies to save $15 off your first month's subscription. This is their best offer anywhere, and it's only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. Plus, free shipping on every order. Every order, get $15 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code Tour Junkies.
Very nice, Pat. All right, not as good as your first one on the betting show, but not bad. Okay, not bad. Definitely shorter, which is good. Believe it or not, people, that was shorter than the one on the betting show. All right, 7K range, Pat. There's a lot to do here. There's a lot of names in here I like. Okay, I'm gonna give you first of all a name that I don't like, and we didn't talk about this guy whatsoever on the betting show. And this is I feel like this is a bold fade. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not. It's $7,500 right there in the smack dab middle of the price range in the 7Ks. I'm taking Cameron Young. Cameron Young is my fade. I am avoiding young Cameron. I avoided him last week. Everybody was talking him up at the Masters. Avoided him there. This golf course has one of the lowest average driving distances on the PGA Tour because there's so many guys have to scale back. It does take the greatest weapon that this kid has. He's number one in this field last 24 rounds of strokes gained off the tee. It takes the biggest weapon out of his hand, the biggest advantage he has as driver. It's going to neutralize that. It just is. And in the last 24 rounds, he's 60th in strokes gained approach. And he's an average or below average putter. He does a lot of his damage off the tee. And I know he played in some really, he played very well for a stretch this year. From the Amex through the API. Let's also not forget, this guy is still a rookie. He's a young player. He's going to have some highs and lows. Like sometimes the DFS world, we just get all real cracked out on a guy. It happened with Mito for a little bit. And then he gives you a good run, and then everybody just keeps pounding it when he might not be, like Cameron Young might not be the next Colin Morikawa, right? He might be, but he might not be, okay? So I just think this is not the place to ride Cam Young.
If you think the name, like a listener out there or you, if you think of the name Cameron Young right now, the golfer, can you actually picture what he looks like?
I can.
Okay. I feel like a lot of people couldn't. Like,
no,
I think
no way.
Like he could be a winner on tour and whatever else. But I know he's been hot and a lot. We've been talking about him and whatever else. But I agree here with you. I don't think this is a good week for him. And I just don't. I think he's been talked up a lot, and it's time to kind of cool our jets a little bit with Cam Young.
Hey, look at that agreement there. All right, that's the fade. Now the hard part. Who do we play here? Because there are a ton of names in here that I like. If we're talking cash locks, and I'll just use these. And these guys you can definitely play in tournaments. I think one of the chalkier names in here is probably going to be Adam Hadwin at 7,600. Given the form that he's in, the fit that he should have here, he doesn't have a great history here. But if you look back, leading up to the years here at the Heritage, he's not been hitting it the way that he's hitting it coming into this. This feels like an Adam Hadwin place, real family friendly, real clean, just real vanilla.
In Greg, is it Greg Russell that plays in that square?
Oh, yeah, Greg Russell.
Does he still have that squirrel that comes out, and the squirrel comes and talks to him a little bit, and then comes out and does the squirrel things?
It doesn't have the squirrel anymore.
I feel like Adam Hadwin him and his kids would be friends with the squirrel.
Adam Hadwin is for sure going to see Greg Russell at least 2 nights while he's there.
Yeah.
Anyway, him, I think you can roll with in cash. He's going to be chalky in GPP. So if you want to fade him there or whatever, do what you want. I also think, man, I'm believing in $7,900 Maverick McNeely. I think if you're going to build a cash lineup, you need to build it balanced. No point in going to the 10K range. Build it balanced. So paying up for Mav, I think you can do it. This kid, I think, is ready to win. I think he's capable of winning here. The irons are solid. I love him on a place with a tough green and reg number. He's playing great. I love Mav and Cash as well, and I love both those guys no matter what. But I think Hadwin's going to be popular. The lower 7K range is where there's a lot of interesting names here. One we did not talk about on the betting show, and I don't know that I've ever said to play him in 7 years of doing this podcast, Pat. This might be a first. Can you guess who it is?
The lower 7K range?
Lower 7K range, a guy that I'm pretty sure in 7 years I've never said to play.
I would probably I'm gonna have to say you mentioned JJ Spawn.
Mhm.
Anirban Lahiri?
Anirban Lahiri.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm riding the.
I mean, he followed up the players.
He followed up the players, dude. He let them hang at the players. And,
Mhm.
he didn't lose the players. Like, we all remember that, right? Like, he didn't lose it. He's a veteran on tour. He's never done jack crap. But, I mean, it's tempting. It's very tempting. I think he's going to be extremely low owned. He's going to give you plenty of leverage down there in the 7K range, low 7. So I think he's a possible play down there. I like Patton Kizzire. I mentioned him on the betting show. I definitely like his upside. If you talk about a guy low 7s that can win, I think he could totally win here. The record here isn't great, but the form is hot. He's a multiple PGA Tour winner. Southeastern course on Bermuda greens for Patton Kizzire sounds like a winning combination. And then I do like JJ Spawn. I like JJ Spawn and Sebastian Munoz right there in the 7,300. I like Dylan Fratelli. I like a lot of guys in here. I like Kevin Streelman. I'm just naming them all now. Who do you like?
Yeah, I you just mentioned somebody I don't know if I like or not. I can't remember. Anyway, you know who I like?
Who?
I think I like the guy that taught everybody in this field probably where Greg Russell plays his music and where the squirrel was back in the day. And that's Matt Kuchar at 7,800. I like Kuchar. Look, Kuch is not going to pop at all for stats. I don't care about that. But if you just look at his last couple events, he almost won just a couple of weeks ago trying to get in at the Valero. He finished T2. Before that, though, had a T16 finish at the Valspar. I think, and Cooch has a great course history here. I mean, if you want to get into some good course history talk, I mean, let's just talk of the last few years. T11 in 2017, T23 in 2018, second in 2019, T41 in 2020, and then a top 20 last year. I think Cooch is a pretty good play here, and he's probably going to be low owned. Nobody wants to play Cooch these days. Why can he not win? Stuart Sink won here last year. Now Sink did come in even better form than we've seen from Cooch lately, but I do like Matt Kuchar here at 7,800. I think Tom Hoagie at 7,600 is a really good play in here. I think he's a safe play. I think he's a cash play, actually. If you want a 7K cash play, I think you play Tom Hoagie. He's just been so consistent and good all year long. And then Sahith Theegala at 7,100. I know you don't like him, DB.
I don't know if I like him here. I don't know if I like him here.
I do. I think at 7,100, that's a good price for him. He's obviously been in really good form. This is the first time that he's played this course. But he's just a really solid, iron player across the board. He's a good ball striker. He's top 50 in the field there. He's good strokes gained around the greens. So I like Theegala there at 7,100. I think he's probably going to have to learn this course. So hopefully he has some good guidance here and dials it back off the tee. But I still like him. And then I'm going to fade Kokrak at 7,900. I don't think I want to play Kokrak here at 7,900.
Ooh, I like Kokrak here. Why not? Why don't you like him?
Well, a few reasons here. Let me get back up to Kokrak. I was so interested in Theegala there. I mean, Kokrak has just not been that great here. I mean, he's missed 3 of the last 4 cuts here at this course. Yes, his form has been pretty decent, but it's just, to me, it's not like the greatest course fit for him. You look at, driving accuracy. He's 70th in the field. He's 73rd in greens and regulation. Doesn't necessarily, putt great here on this course. I mean, he's top 50 in the field there, 76 in strokes gained around the green. It's just like everything. Like if I plug him into my mixed condition model in Fantasy National, he's 71st in the field on the things that I like. And That's not enough for me to want to play Jason Kokrak at 7,900.
He's 23rd in my model, and I like him. And let me tell you why I think
You
I
must
thought
be heavily weighting something that I'm not heavily weighting.
approach, like heavy.
He's
But
50th in the field in approach in the last 24 rounds.
that is true. That is true. Ball striking, the ball striking, he's third at Harbor Town, in his last 24 rounds, ball striking at Harbor Town. You're right. He's not putted well here. But here's where I think, and I mentioned this in the sleeper video for the Masters, where I think Kokrak has taken a new step, and it hasn't really maybe been a new putter or a new stroke. It's a new caddy, and it's in David Stemp Robinson, who is a putting guru, green reading machine, and I really think the guy is helping Jason Kokrak gain strokes on the green like he's not done before. If you look over the last 50 rounds on Bermuda, he's 23rd in the field. If you look over the last 12 rounds in putting, he's 40th, which isn't amazing, but it's definitely better than what he's done here at Harbor Town. He had those two missed cuts in 2018 and 2017 where he lost over 11 strokes putting. But the ball striking has always been really good at Harbor Town. The putter has just let him down. But even when those missed cuts, he still had years where he did very well here. I mean, the run from 14 to 16, a 12th, an 18th, and a 6th. So, like, clearly, I feel like Harbor Town is something that he can do well, and I think he plays well on shorter courses that do take driver out of his hand off the tee a little bit, even though he's long. He does well with those. He's one of those guys that just does. I think he's an interesting play. If I see him low owned, I will pounce. I will pounce.
I don't know if he will be low owned though.
He might
And
not.
you're right about the course. Like, I mean, when he won at Colonial, it's a very similar type. It's a very, I mean, I would say that's
Yeah.
very like a comp course for sure for Colonial is Harbor Town.
It's one of those positional courses off the tee where guys are all pretty much hitting it to the same spot. It's like, however you have to get to 270 yards in the fairway, you get there. If it's a driver because you're I can't think of like the shortest hitter in the game right now, because you're like, I don't know, David Hearn, or if it's a 4-iron because you're DJ, like just get to 270. It's one of those courses, and so is this place. But I think,
Yeah.
I think
Again, but I'll just remind folks that when we try to give I think you can make a lot of points either way for Kokrak, but when we try to give a fade, for me, it's usually to try to give a little bit of a bold fade. I do think he's going to be higher end in this area. So,
don't be throwing some indirect bold fade shade at my ass. Don't do that.
no, I'm not. I'm just telling people what it is.
Yeah, don't do that. By the way, who's your fade in the 9K range? Because I think somebody asked about that earlier.
I thought I said that.
I think we got distracted.
Oh, it was Jordan Spieth. What the?
Oh, real bold.
What the? Yeah, exactly. What the hell is going on with Jordan though? Like, what was he doing? I've never seen. Like, I watched him a lot at the Masters. It's like his whole his takeaway and everything. Like, what the hell is he doing right now?
He's I don't know, man. I'm not a swing instructor, but I do plan on becoming one day.
I was angry watching Jordan. I was like,
I played
what
Jordan
in the
last week.
hell are you doing with your swing? Go back to whatever it used to be. But he did this. He was doing this thing in the back. And I knew he was missing the cut after that. It was just like this guy. He's just effing with shit right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's getting late in the DFS show when Pat's throwing bombs out there and screaming and yelling. Here we go. Let's get to the 6K range before it really goes ham. Pat, do you like anybody in 6K range? Like, I like the 6K range. I like a few names here, but I'm not like super excited to put many of them in my lineups. But so I don't know. That's where I really think I'm leaning that balanced feel.
Well, I think you definitely gotta look at Matthew Naismith.
Yeah.
Neesmith. I mean, the guy's
I like him.
I mean, he's been playing well lately. Seems very confident with his game. You could throw out the South Carolina connection. I don't know if that really matters all that much. Brian Stewart.
Honestly, I mean,
he had to pop for you. He had to have. I know we had to bet. So for folks that don't know, we had a bet on Brian Stewart. That's the reason I was supposed to eat shrimp in the last podcast.
But along with that, I like Nick Taylor here too, which our bet was Nick Taylor versus Brian Stewart.
Yeah, I like Nick Taylor. Yeah, I like him. Yeah. But I mean, that was the most pillow fight of bets of all time. They
Oh,
both missed.
great.
They both missed the cut. They were like within one of each
They
other.
were within one, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it shouldn't. Like it really. We should have like called the bet, but we still said
No, you can't do that. Dude, you know who's playing really good down here? Nate Lashley. Did you pay attention to that?
yeah, saw that. Well, I mean, he's always a guy that kind of pops when you're looking at, you know, your approach, you know, your small greens, that kind of stuff.
Really?
I like Bo Hostler, and I don't know. I don't think stats are going to really show you anything with Hostler, but I think he's been playing pretty well lately, or he has been playing pretty well lately. So I think Hostler is in play a little bit here. Um, do we even look at? Do we even look at Charles Schwartzel?
No,
Do you believe in Charles after he
no.
missed a lot of cuts and then he just played well, or
I
is
don't
it
know.
just
He did say
or is it just course history, DB?
at
'Cause
Augusta for sure. For sure. That's a big part of it. He did say though, I think I saw a post round interview with him on Saturday where he said like, I think he said like he felt like his game had been coming around for a minute. He just couldn't really put it all together. I don't know. That's interesting. I mean, Joel Damon's one that I'm interested in. Doug Gim is another one. So those names we'll be looking at, and we'll be narrowing those down. If you want to get real stupid low, you can look at Luke Donald, who has been his irons have been playing well lately. He was always the RBC Heritage guy, and Wesley Bryant, who I've talked about. He doesn't have full status on tour right now. He's coming back as a past champion here at this event. He loves Harbortown, absolutely loves Harbortown. Talks about how it's a golf course for artists, and he considers himself an artist. You got to work the ball a lot there, be creative.
Did it surprise you that he was 60-1 when he won here? Like I thought he would have been way longer than that.
Dude, he actually, the more I think about it, like 6,100 for him is really good. That is cheap.
And he's not injured anymore.
He's not injured.
He's
he
maybe not
loves,
good. He may not be good anymore, but he's not injured anymore.
He finished 25th here a year ago. He just finished 15th at Corrales. I mean, I know Corrales is Corrales, and I know this is a steep field. I mean, I don't know that you play him in, maybe he's not a play in like a large tournament where like you really need to have like near the nuts, but in a single entry or 3 max entry or something, you want to get a little wild hair in your, in your asshole. Make that hair Wesley Bryant.
I don't know if we needed to go in that direction, but
yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Well, there we go. Hey, listen, we're gonna do the 2-minute men lineup real quick, Pat. Let's knock that out. Before we do that, be sure and hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave the comment. Like I said, favorite golf brand or piece of apparel. We're doing a little market research here. Need to hear from you. What do you like? Who do you like? What do you like about it? Put that in the YouTube comments. It helps us out. Pat, our 2-minute men lineup last week we did in the car, and we put it on. I think we put it as a YouTube short or on Instagram or something, and it sucked. It
did.
Oh, it sucked. It was so bad. So whatever we do here, just fade that. Okay. We don't have producer Sam here as our timer, so I'm going to need you to time, Pat.
Okay, hang on.
You got to pay attention. Stop looking at the chat and all the other shit.
Well, how many things do I got? I'm pulling up my lineup here, and so I got to do the timer too.
Well, I mean,
all right, just give me a second here.
I guess we got to do, but with when producer Sam's not here, everything just falls apart. It really is.
Hang on.
Wow, this is great radio here. Great radio, as they say.
I got that part. All right, ready?
Oh,
you tell me when you. Oh wait, that's the calculator. Oh, that's the. Wait a second. Where is it? Here it is.
All right, we're building a GPP lineup here in DraftKings. Big tournament lineup here.
Okay. All right, ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, go.
Wesley Bryant. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
A guy I think we'll both agree on that has some win equity that may go under the radar. Let's go Kevin Na.
Oh, I like Na. I like Na. I mentioned him on the betting show.
I
like starting there, and then I think we go up though to I think Henley or Neiman.
Oh, I like them both. I like Henley a lot.
All right. Well, let's go Henley there.
Okay. What are we gonna get somebody in the 10K or no? I need to know that. That's gonna change how everything goes.
I would like to get somebody in the 10K, and I would like to go chalky with Morikawa.
Okay, I'll do that. That leaves us an average of around 7,700. Do we want to go?
Why don't we go up to Noren?
We're getting real chalky there. Henley, Morikawa, and Noren.
Okay,
That's real chalk.
right, okay. Wait, what's the time?
I don't know. What about
We got 48 seconds.
What about Streelman or Hoagie?
I like Streelman over Hoagie for this purpose. Yeah.
What about
I don't like him better, but I like him for like a GPP. I like him better.
What about Munoz or Spawn or Knox at 73?
Are we going Streelman? Because we're about to run out of time.
Okay, fine. Streelman. Knox, Munoz, Spawn.
Munoz.
All right, we have 8,200 left. McNeely?
We have 15 seconds.
McNeely, Harmon. Hadwin's going to be chalk. McNeely or Harmon? I like McNeely.
Fine, I'll give you McNeely.
Yes. All right. Whew. Dang, we barely got that in there. All right. Colin Morikawa, Russell Henley. And then we went with 3 7K guys, or 4 7K guys. Maverick McNeely, Kevin Na, Kevin Streelman, Sebastian Munoz. $300 left on the table. I dig it. That's not a bad line. I feel good about that one. Good job, guys. Good job, us. All right. You know what I mean? Good job, us. Good job, you. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, rate, and review. Thumbs up, like, comment, all the good stuff. We'll be back. We're going to do a show next week for the Zurich. We are going to do that. Don't forget to subscribe to the Chalk Bomb and the Heavy Petting emails if you've not already on tourjunkies.com, bottom right side of any page. Or you can go to tourjunkies.com/chalkbomb. We'll be in the Nut Hut Wednesday night. Should be a great night. Going to be a lot of fun. The chat last week was so much fun. Maybe I'll tell my story about Sunday, late Sunday afternoon of the Masters. I'll tell that in the Nut Hut chat on Sunday night or Wednesday night. All right. Thanks, everybody. May your screens be green. See you. Out.